Hello, my tribe. Everybody out there in YouTube land. My XRP army. Royal Rich had a comment, and he asked a question in the comment section. He said that this is hypothetical, but let's say in the future all banks have closed down and I want to sell some XRP. Where do I send money for the sale? Okay, well, first you have to ask yourself, why are the banks closed? I see three reasons why you would have banks closed. First of all, governments will do everything within their power to keep the banks open and solvent. If banks are closed, people first get nervous, then they get rowdy, then they become uncontrollable. I have firsthand experience at this during the LA riots. I won't bore you with the details. Maybe I will someday. But right now, it is against the law for any bank to be closed for more than 72 hours in the United States, because people get nervous that they don't have access to their money. And it's not so important today because you have debit cards, you have credit cards, you have other means of purchasing the things you need, even if the bank doors are shut. But they can turn those off with a switch too. So I don't see that being an issue when you can do things electronically online. That leads us to other things that can cause the banking systems to go down. It could be hacked. Could be hacked. If that's the case, then you're going to have to wait until the hack is rectified and the banks reopen. I don't see that happening. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's just a matter of time. I think banks are far too important for the banks to be closed because of a hack. Immense amount of resources would be thrown at it to get them back open and online to calm the population. Another thing that could take down the banking system would be the loss of electricity. No electricity, no banks, but there are no investment houses. There's no nothing if there's no electricity. Coronal mass ejection off of the sun, a big burst of energy that hits the earth, travels along the transmission lines into the power substations and blows up the big transformers and all the little transformers too, and melts the wires and starts fires. Yep, we're overdue for a big one. And we've narrowly missed a couple of large ones that could alter everybody's way of life on Earth. And so it's just a matter of time before every day we wake up, we roll the dice, and if the sun blows off one and the Earth flies through the energy field, the transmission lines are just a big antenna and they collect energy. And that energy has to go somewhere, and it's going through equipment that's not designed for those kinds of voltages and that kind of power surge, and a lot of bad things will happen. The banking system will go down. Another thing that could cause the closing of the banks would be an EMP, electromagnetic pulse device, set off by one of our adversaries in the upper atmosphere over the continental US, or several of them. And that would take down electronic equipment, including the electronic equipment that controls our power grid, and therefore the power grid would go down. If either of those two things happens, you got problems that are so much greater than what to do with an XRP sale. This is something I consider myself to be an expert in, and that is preparedness industry. I do operate a preparedness company called Elevated Refuge Consulting, where I consult with people about how to truly survive catastrophic events in the world. And it's not the way you think it is. If the banks are closed because there's no electricity, and even if they're closed because the government tells them to close down, you don't want to be anywhere near urban or suburban areas. People behaving badly are going to become very prevalent very quickly. And the monsters will crawl out from underneath the couches and do all sorts of horrible, terrible things in society. So you're not going to sell your XRP and do anything with it if the banks are closed. You could leave it in your Coinbase account. What else you could do with it other than that? Nothing until the banks reopen, because the whole world relies upon the banking system to transfer money back and forth. Crypto's getting around that, but for now, you still rely primarily upon the banking system, because you sell your crypto, put it into USD, transfer that back to your bank, and then you spend it as you like. That's the way it typically works now. Yeah, you can go end to end user like with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin also relies ultimately upon banks. You don't go to the Rolls-Royce dealer and buy a Rolls-Royce with crypto. Tesla tried that. They decided it wasn't a good fit for their industry, and so they don't do it. So there's no wide acceptance for it. You're not going to the grocery store and paying for your groceries with XRP. You do that with cash, and cash entails that you will be involved in the banking system in one form or another. So that's what I say. What you're going to do with your XRP after you sell it, if the banks are closed, you're going to sit on it in your account. Unless you find somebody willing to give you whatever it is you need in the form of it to purchase, and they'll take your XRP and you send it to them in an email, and then boom, it shows up, and they happen to have an account also. For everyday living, that's not going to happen rapidly overnight. So that's my answer. If the banking system goes down, and what are you going to do with the proceeds if you sell your crypto? You're going to sit on it. That's the only answer I have. If you have a better answer, if you know something I don't know, hey, we're all here to learn from each other. Put it down in the comments section. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that too. There are some things in the works that could circumvent the whole banking system, but they are not currently active. These are things that are being formulated. Let me know what you think down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. And thank you all for stopping by. Hope you got something out of this. God bless you all. Take care. I'm out.